Rising. Hello, Rich Rising. Finally got the green light. You know, I just recorded a whole other video and it just didn't feel right. So I'm changing the method and the style of the video for the day, and we're just gonna have just a talk. It's caftan season, so I keep wearing my tapestries because I wear wall tapestries because I like the texture, cotton, and I tie them up or a caftan as much as possible. So you keep seeing me in the same textures or dresses because, you know, I'm filming at home and I'm in my comfort zone. So you're getting not a performative version of myself. This is me being myself. So rock a cow on deck. The topic today. All right. So I have a bunch of things on my mind, but feelings are a big deal. And so I thought, because I am fixated on authenticity, I have a bunch of thoughts in my mind. But one of the things is a rejection, right? We tend to look at things not working out with a friendship or a job or a relationship as a person. I'm going to shuffle just for comfort. Something to do with my hands while I get my thoughts together. So, rejection is like one of the worst feelings, right? Because it sends us down the rabbit hole of, well, I guess I'm not good enough, right? Or nobody's ever going to appreciate me, or I just don't have the skills that, or, I feel unhireable. I feel useless. I don't get invited anywhere. That's one of my big ones. But, at the same time, I go to bed very early. And I don't miss a lot. I'm pretty content. But, invitations are still nice. Rejection, though, is something I'm really familiar with. I've had, the first people to reject me was my parents. And, I've had birthdays where I invited like 25 kids and only one showed up. And it hurt my feelings big time. Like, there was a bunch of people that just didn't care to show up for me, but my sister's birthday parties were always huge. So I've been through a period of, like, I would say in my whole life, if I look back 39 years, I've spent more time dealing with rejection and seclusion and being in solitude. For somebody that loves to speak, to relate, to enjoy people, to get to know people, as much as my, human design says that I like to be in the marketplace. That's my environment, which is where there's lots of little baby things to manage and keep afloat, and, kind of like working at a gym. It's a good environment for me. But, as much as that is a part of me, the dichotomy is I wind up spending a lot of time in solitude. I'm a 12th houser. And for whatever reason, the 12th house makes people more than often not be open enemies with you. Like, or they'll pretend to be your friend. That one that hurts the worst. Is when people get to know you and then decide after like a year and a half or two, you're actually not worth it. I've had it all happen. Or maybe they just decided I was too much. But it's not even, I'm not talking about relationships because I'm not a relationship experienced rich person. I don't really have intimate relationships like that with the opposite sex. But in talking really general here, rejection in every sense. So what do you do with that? How do you cope with those feelings of, hey, I put my best foot forward and nobody picked up what I was putting down. I'm once again in a wind tunnel trying to speak by myself and nobody can hear me. You know, that feeling. So oftentimes you catch yourself when you're in those moments not enjoying what you were doing anymore because perhaps the person you were doing it with, it didn't either impress them or, you know, you don't have your buddy anymore to do it with, or what. So, because obviously I'm sitting everything, you know, basically it comes down to not abandoning yourself to begin with, regardless, right? So you have to make a decision that no matter what happens, I have my own back and I'm going to be fine. I'm going to take care of me. It's not a hyper independence. It's going ahead and letting people in to a degree, getting an experience, letting people show themselves to you and without strings, and seeing how they react to your energy. That's all it is. You're seeing how your vibrations match or don't. And it's not personal. It hurts a lot when it's about money. Like if it's a job that doesn't vibrationally match with you. But everything is happening for you, not to you. Honestly, if a job doesn't want your energy there, why would you mourn that too much? I mean, it probably wasn't going to go anywhere anyways. They were probably going to give you the worst tasks possible. And you would have had to deal with that. Things happen for you, not to you. You have to decide not to self-abandon, right? So what were you doing before you felt rejected? Well, was that thing authentic to you or not? Because if it's authentic to you, you will have no problem continuing the path that you were on. You might need a break. If there's like a, you know, especially if it's online and you're used to seeing somebody like regularly pop up, but habits, whatever the intensity of that level of sense of rejection is. But you have to choose you above all, every single moment, every single day. You get presented with thoughts and choices, and you have to choose to think of yourself in the highest light every single day. If a bunch of people haven't accepted you, then just know, I mean, as long as you're not a piece of shit. Granted, you know, maybe you're a piece of shit and you make life hard for people. You have to examine something about yourself. Maybe you have more personal work to do. The common denominator is always you, right? But it might not be always in the least positive. You know what I'm saying? It might actually just be that that these groups weren't for you in the first place. It might just be that you have more abundance coming into you, and this period of solitude is helping create space for something so attuned to your energy and so aligned with everything in your soul that you couldn't even imagine what that is yet. The unknown doesn't have to be negative. Rejection doesn't have to be negative. We make it negative because we have that original pain, that original source of pain. That's Chiron, right? You got to look at Chiron in your chart and figure out how that pain, open wound that keeps coming up is present with you. And you got to figure out how in your childhood that presented itself, how you formed opinions about yourself during that time. Because when we're young, the way people treat us forms our sense of who we are. Whether we're good enough or rejected or like have a good use or are loved or not. All that stems from early childhood. So we use other people for validation in that stage, but we have to grow out of it at some point. That is choosing yourself. That is not being selfish. That is the anti-self-abandonment. That is sitting with yourself, choosing to be your own best ally because you're with yourself 100% of the time. Your consciousness, you, the observer and you, but both you are always together. Nobody can separate you, not even when you do a bunch of drugs, right? You're still locked in. Drinking a lot, blackout drunk, you're still locked in. Can't shake it. You still have that relationship with yourself. And it can suffer, but it won't go away. And until you decide to be your own best friend, your body will feel like it's betraying you. Your friends will feel like they're betraying you. Your parents will feel like they're betraying you. Every person you meet has a potential of betraying you. You have paranoia. You are afraid to express yourself authentically. You're afraid to feel your feelings, so you keep putting things in your body to keep you numb. Maybe you're a sex addict or, drugs, whatever, workaholic, anything. Anything can be getting in your way of fully meeting yourself. Choosing yourself, sitting with yourself, being present with yourself is the most nurturing but difficult thing you can probably do, because you have to be your own parents. You have to be radically responsible and make sure that your authenticity is on board, your integrity is on board, you're staying either disciplined or dedicated, depending on what word you like to use. Are you making yourself proud every day? We get into this thing where this is the rejection sense where if you don't act a certain way, I'm not going to be happy. You're literally choosing to be unhappy if somebody doesn't act a certain way, which is insanity, because you could be feeling the way you want to feel without condition. You just got to give it to yourself. And that's all I'm talking about today. So this sitting with yourself and giving yourself that level of presence and attention and care in your body. I feel like this is the most important lesson to be learning right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about all this self-improvement and all this realness emotionally the way I have been. What's up, Mike? So I'm talking about self-abandonment right now, but I'm almost through. But my point, I'll reiterate. It's still Cancer season, so we're talking about it's I feel season. So I'm talking about that sense of when things don't work out with a relationship or with a job or with any number of things, how we get triggered and we want to go into the thought process that we had when we were little kids, like looking how other people treat us and making our ego or our self-definition based on how they treated us. As adults, we have to do better than that. We have to create our own inner definition. And one of the ways we do that is preventing ourselves from self-abandoning. So that takes presence, that takes staying with your breath, it takes some type of either dedication or discipline, whichever way you want to frame it. So that's the quick and dirty, but I kind of went a little bit like this, back and forth. It's complicated, but at the same time, not. We have this, I'm not saying that we don't have needs, okay? Part of the human journey is that we do have needs. I'm not saying that you have to fulfill every single one of those needs. Honestly, if without relationship, we can't fully see ourselves. We need these mirrors of other people in our lives. We have this need instilled within us on purpose. This is divine. We need this reflection. However, this is always going to be a distortion. Our observer is going to be probably the clearest point of view as long as we stay in touch with that and continually clearing the pipeline with spirit and making sure that we are removing our egos and feeling in purity instead of gunking it up with all this paranoia or constant awareness of the pain you were born with, which is the Chiron open wound in your natal chart. So with me, my Chirons, I talk about this all the time, is conjunct my moon, which is a deep pain interwoven with my relationship with my mother that has caused, all kinds of issues with my subconscious that I've continually worked through. Most of the bulk that of spiritual work that I've done has been with my subconscious, but I feel like it has enhanced my relationships in the way that as long as I have a tether to myself and a strong backbone and how I feel about myself, I know I'm a goddess. I don't need everybody else to reflect that to me to feel that way. I don't have needs like that. I don't need people to boost my confidence. I have confidence that makes other people feel uncomfortable. That's probably borderline too much. But I know that just comes from the fact that I haven't self-abandoned. I've been celibate for 6 years. Working on 7. Closer to 7 at this point, being at this time of year. But I was married 12 years. I got divorced in 2017. There was a couple years where I made a mistake. I thought somebody was deeper in. I thought we were closer than we were. I thought he was going to be it was like a false twin flame experience. But I've never had anybody else in my bed. I've had 2 men in my bed the entire time. I'm almost 40. I don't have any shame about that because my soul is pure in the way that I connect with people without sex getting in the way most of the time. I'm able to have people relate to me of both sexes, and I can flow with that. But that all this blessing of having a community, of being able to be co-ed, comes from not self-abandoning. Because if I wasn't staying with myself, I would hop on every dick that showed interest and confuse attention with actual being pursued. It's the type of validation as a woman that they teach you to use your body in order to get people to like you. Mike, you thought I was a lot younger. Well, that's a nice compliment. How old did you think I was? That's, I get that a lot, but hopefully that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm almost 40. Maybe it's the fact that I'm not all ran through that I look so young. That's great. No, that's wonderful. Thank you for that. Early 30s, I'll take it. I'll take it. I drink a lot of collagen. Yeah. You know, it's not that I don't have bombs going off around me. It's a choice to protect myself regardless of what's going on, so I can be happy and content without bullshit. Like, I don't have to bring the drama that happened over there into this conversation. Everything is compartmentalized because to have this closeness with them, that I need to double down on that even more, because it's the trust in seeing that reflection is something I'm getting experience in still. And I love it. But again, I can only get that without putting pressure on things. So thank you for that, Mike. It's a nice little boost in the morning. So hopefully I have explained my thought process here. This is going to be like 20 minutes long again. I don't know if anybody sits and watches these 20-minute long videos after the fact, but God bless you if you do. But that was my experience, sort of thinking about rejection. And, you know, if you're not behaving in an authentic way, if you're doing things to impress somebody else, it's not sustainable, and you're not going to be able to carry forward with that. So, don't project that on somebody else, I guess, is my other point. Is like, if you make a decision to step out of your own comfort zone in a way that, I don't want to say that necessarily comfort zone thing. If you step out of your character for somebody else and you get hurt, that's your fault. That's on you, baby. You made that choice to step out of character. You made that choice to invest in things that wasn't true to your soul. You can't be mad at somebody else for you doing that. I've been there. So that was one of the points I wanted to make. But I think I've knocked everything through. But I always have like this latent, I should have said that thing, but whatever. I feel good right now. So thank you for sitting with me, Mike. It's always nice to have somebody join me. Usually I'm talking to myself. So, all right. Love you guys. What day is it? It's Wednesday. So have a wonderful, wistful Wednesday.